You know what's better than 1 overtime in the playoffs? 2 overtimes in the playoffs? Wrong. 2 overtimes in the playoffs called by Bob Cole. What the? How's that fair? Woo! Are you just gonna get hammered? Get me a toaster. Magic Angel Robot from Winnipeg! What the hell are you talking about? This team is ruining my life! The Chicago Blackhawks win 5-4 over the LA Kings in Game 5, and they stay alive. Chicago's still just 1 loss away from elimination, but they're kind of weird, and that's how they like it. Whatever floats your boat, son. What a carnival of a game. Gong show of a first period, and a masterpiece by Bob Cole, which we'll get to. Brent Seabrook on the power play, just 1:13 in, 1-0. Up to this point, LA has been great at shutting down the Blackhawks power play. That's why you can't take a penalty 30 seconds into a game. Doesn't matter if you've been good at shutting them down so far, you don't want to let them get the monkey off their back. And there he goes. Followed up by Johnny Oduya. It's 2-0 Blackhawks, less than 4 minutes in, 2 goals, 2 defensemen. Oh, do you believe it? Yes, you do. But what have I been saying about the Kings? They don't really give a crap how they get goals, do they? Pretty ugly, they'll take them. If goals were on Tinder, the Kings would always swipe right. And Jarrett Stoll is a floozy. Banging in a second to cut the deficit to 1. Until Brandon Saad, a 3-point game for him, gets his 5th of the playoffs, and Andrew Shaw gets his 2nd assist. 3-1 Hawks, and here is the player that drives me the most nuts. Andrew Shaw kinda haunts my dreams. I had the privilege and pleasure of a media pass for the entirety of the 2011 Memorial Cup in Mississauga, Ontario, which I was extra excited for because I also followed the OHL playoffs that year, particularly the OHL final between the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors and the Owen Sound Attack. And every time I watched the Attack, who ended up winning the OHL title that year, I was like, who is this little bastard? Who is this little runt with 10 goals, 7 assists in 20 playoff games? Who is this kid that keeps getting knocked down and getting back up? Who's this guy that's driving everyone nuts that I've never heard of? His name was Andrew Shaw, and the Blackhawks took a flyer on him in the 5th round of the draft following those playoffs. And I was so impressed when I watched him play with Owen Sound, but even I can't believe that the guy's already got 175 NHL games under his belt and a Stanley Cup ring. That iconic shot of him hoisting the trophy last year and the blood dripping down his face, and then he takes something off the ankle in this game and he can barely skate and he gets back in it. Ah! People talk about team toughness and pugnacity, and you don't need a huge guy for that. You need 5'10", 180 pounds, size of a high school student Andrew Shaw. Not that he's the star of the Blackhawks, but he doesn't have to be. That's your responsibility when you have stars in your team, like Duncan Keith, like Jonathan Toews, like Patrick Kane. You build around them. With Andrew Shaw, I was hoping he would score a goal so I can have this rant. 2 assists will have to do. And this rant is kind of all for naught because just 2 minutes and 10 seconds later, Marian Gaborik, his 11th of the playoffs, if you believe that, and it's 3-2 after 1. What is this, Flyers Penguins? Second period, what did I say about the Kings? They are quite promiscuous. Dustin Brown banging away in front, swipe right. Tanner Pearson, nice little shot blocker side, swipe right. What was once a 3-1 Chicago lead is now a 4-3 Kings lead. And I hate to harp on Corey Crawford because I think enough people do that already, and he made some big saves in this one, but holy crap, stop that Pearson shot. But give Pearson credit, he fooled him. Third period, early on, rebound, Ben Smith! Oh! Someone on Tumblr once said I look like Ben Smith, and I'm like, first of all, no. Second of all, he has abs. Third of all, he plays in the NHL, which is why he scored this goal, 4-4 tie. And I want to thank Ben Smith for scoring so early in the third, because that meant the game was tied, and it made it that much more exciting because next goal wins, pretty much. And then it went to overtime, and it was next goal wins, literally. And let me tell you, that might have been my favorite game I have heard Bob Cole call in years. Chicago fans and fans of Los Angeles, you may not know who I'm talking about, but he is a guy in Canada that makes me say, oh baby. He's the old play-by-play guy for CBC, and I say that because Jim Hewson is now the play-by-play guy. Does a fine job, but there's something about Bob Cole that just takes me back to my childhood. Calling this game at the top of his lungs with so much excitement and anticipation, and he's 80 years old. Zero hyperbole, he's actually 80. And that one stretch in overtime where there was not a whistle for 7 minutes and 56 seconds, he just kept it going, high tempo, high energy, all the time. But he likes to keep it simple. Some people will go, it's an elimination game tonight, and I'm like, shut up, I know that, I'm watching. Bob Cole goes, it's an elimination game. And I'm like, oh my god. And Bob Cole called this damn game like it was his last, and I gotta thank the Chicago Blackhawks for winning. Nothing against the Los Angeles Kings, but this series continuing means Bob Cole continues. At 80 years young, Bob Cole is calling the hell out of this series, and he calls mauled the hell out of that game. Born in 1933 in St. John's, Newfoundland, and Newfoundland didn't even become part of Canadian Federation until 1949. If you've been deprived of Bob Cole your whole life, please just YouTube some of his greatest moments, and if you've been listening to Bob Cole your whole life, just go ahead and do that yourself. LA, I know you got some good guys. Chicago, I know you got some good guys broadcasting, but there's something about Bob Cole. Oh, baby! Quick making huge saves. Crawford, who I just criticized, making bigger saves, and overtime continues. Not to mention that huge hit from Muzzin on Kruger. Jeez. That was one of those hits where he gets flung like in a video game and he gets up and you're like, yeah, how's he getting up from that? So beautiful hit by Muzzin, but how the hell did Kruger get up? But just 2 minutes and 4 seconds into overtime, another guy who was overlooked in the same draft as Shaw, although he was picked in the second round, Brandon Saad to Michael Hanser's wide open Zeus! I criticized him earlier in this series for his undisciplined play, and the answer's back with that. And apparently that's Hanser's first playoff game winner since 2003. Taves and Kane weren't even drafted until 2006 and 2007. And the Blackhawks lived to fight another day in the 2014 Stanley Cup playoffs. Which means I get to do another video. Playoff hockey. Oh, baby! That's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. And the reason I am able to make as many videos as I have over this spring is tech savvy. It used to take me 2 hours, sometimes more, to upload these videos. Now it only takes 10 minutes. Go to techsavvy.com if you want internet as fast as mine. And follow them on Twitter at TechSavvyBuzz. And I will see you next time. Oh, baby.